Start. Let's move into the Saturday games. It is the South Sydney Rabbitohs taking on the West Tigers. Again, you look at these teams on paper and you go, it's going to be an absolute blowout. But besides last year's last game where they did get blown out, the Tigers did win. Every single game has been very, very close between these sides in recent times. But the head-to-head, 23-17, the completion rate, Tigers actually have a better completion rate, 76-74. Points scored, Bunnies blow them off the park, 244-136. And points conceded, 150-206. So it is a close game backstart. It might blow out, but in recent times it has been a close game, given the Tigers did get a win against this side in Golden Point last year. Talk to me about this South Sydney Rabbitohs side.
Yeah, you got Latrell Mitchell in the fullback role with Alex Johnson and Tane Milne in the wing position, Isaiah Tass, Campbell Graham in the centres, Cody Walker, Lachlan Ilias in the halves, Tavita Tavola and Hame Selly in the forward pack role. Damon Cook in the hooker position, the man that's going to wear the 9 for New South Wales, in my opinion. MCK, not to be confused with Machine Gun Kelly, and Jacob Host and Cameron Murray round out the pack. Jai Arrow, Jed Cartwright, Liam Knight, Tom Burgess round out the interchange bench with Blake Taff in that HIA 18 jersey, with Richard Kinnar, Peter M., Ben Lovett, Dean Hawkins to round out the extended bench. And wow, oh wow, this team, it looks fire, literally on fire. The only thing that's going to take them to put out is a Queensland team running over Latrell Mitchell in the centre position come State of Origin time. So good to see that one coming up. But nonetheless, this team looked good last week against the Storm. Yes, they have Storm as their hoodoo team that usually in recent years they could never ever win, regardless of where it was at, down there, up here, all around Australia. They could never seem to get the job done. So good to see they got the job done in Magic Round when the spotlight was on them. Latrell Mitchell looked fantastic. He really took the game by the throat and sort of led it around and showed it who was the man that was leading this team around the park. He had his fingerprints, he had his fingers in all these pies in game plans and whatnot. So good to see it's all clicking for the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Yeah, they only sit at the moment second by 2 points and 2 differential points. So really, they get a win this weekend. Broncos lose to the Storm, even if it is by 1, Souths win by 2. You're looking at a new top of the leader by the end of this weekend.
Well, talk to me about that. We're obviously talking about Latrell Mitchell. Talk to me about the obviously incident with Harry Grant. Now, like I said, I was at Magic Round and I was quite shocked because the notion is that Melbourne, they're loved in Queensland. It's like they're, I guess you could say, 5th team now. But majority of this crowd were going for South Sydney. And I'm not talking just the South Sydney fans, but the Raiders fans, the Bulldogs fans, the Cowboys fans, the Titans fans. Everybody was cheering for South Sydney in this game. But then Latrell hits Harry Grant. He palms him in the face. He palms whoever else was there in the face. And no one was going for South Sydney. Everyone was booing him. Everyone was against him.
Yeah, you know why? Because it's just the recent years or the past years that Melbourne was so good. They just became the team that you just wanted to hate. It's the Australian way. Regardless of what sport you follow, what code, whatever, as soon as one team becomes successful, everybody just hates you because you are successful.
Yeah, but Storm haven't been dominant in a very long time. It's been Penrith. So, like, you'd think
no, they still get top 8 and whatnot.
Yeah, but this is a Storm side where you have who knows how many Queenslanders in that squad. There's Queenslanders throughout that squad versus a side that Latrell Mitchell, Campbell Graham, Cody Walker's played. Ilias is probably a future player. Damien Cook's played. Cameron Murray. You've got a lot of New South Wales players that are in a Queensland-based state getting a lot of support. So, like, I guess for me, it's a very strange thing to see Melbourne getting booed at Suncorp.
I don't think it was just boo. I think
Can't say it's not booed. I was there. Everyone was booing him every time he
Yeah,
touched the ball.
I think it's just the way it was like booed. Like, mate, I wasn't there. I heard it. Wasn't there. I couldn't. I'm just thinking maybe they were booing him because they were behind the scoreline and they should be better, or maybe.
Well, talk to me. I guess talk to me about the Latrell Mitchell thing. Did you think at the time it's a penalty? It's a sin bin. Like, I'm not saying it should be.
I didn't think it was a simple offence. I think it should have been called up. Should have been pulled up right there and then.
But it was pulled up and it was said, "Don't do it again. Play the ball." But you've palmed
but
someone in the face.
I think there should have been. I think it should have been a penalty.
But you don't think it's a sin bin?
Because
think of it this way.
For what we've seen so far.
Think of it this way. If every single tackle, someone palms someone in the face and hits him in the back of the head, are we just going to play on?
No. From what we've seen in the last 9 rounds this season, or the last 9 rounds of this season and the games played before this game, we've seen sin binnings for a lot less and for a lot outrageous things than that. So at first glance, I was like, nah, like it should have been a penalty to Storm, play on, let him go. But to me, it wasn't like a do or die thing. I don't know how to explain it, but it was like I couldn't care if he went to the bin or not because I was like, okay.
But it's not a caring thing. You have to set a precedent. Let me ask you this. Nelson, does he go to the bin for doing that? 100%. He went last year. Does Radley go? Does Hargraves go? Does who else has a bad reputation? Does Tamalalo go if he does it? Is it because, and they discussed this on NRL 360, and this is why I bring it up, is it Latrell is such a character and he's such a high profile that he gets away with more than what anyone else in his side would?
Maybe. And again, it's just it's a bit.
Well, look at the Warriors. The guy touched his shit,
people do it. People do it unconsciously. People are biased in parts of their day or whatever they think unconsciously, and Latrell's is. We want characters within the game like Brandon Smith, Latrell Milk, Jerome Luai, for instance, the way he brings his, the way he plays the game. We want these characters in the game, but that when they sort of go against the wind, so to speak, like what he did, pushing it, I don't agree with, but to say it was deserved a 10 in the bin, I don't think so.
It was a swinging arm. He hits him in the back of the head with a swinging arm.
I don't think his intention was to throw punches. I don't think that's why.
What do you mean? The guy's on the floor and he goes like this and spins around the back of his head.
I think he was like, I'm going to punch this guy in the head, regardless of who it was.
Not punch him, but it's a swinging arm. You do that in a tackle, a swinging arm. Do you go to the bin if you hit someone in the head? Yes.
Look, we're
so why is it any different?
I don't think so. As I said, first glance, I said, nah, don't worry about it. Like, just play on. Not play on, but Melbourne get the penalty. And, you give Latrell a fine for what, grade 1 dangerous, not dangerous contact, but whatever it is. And he gets a $3,000 fine.
Let me ask you this question. Are you okay with that happening every single tackle for 80
minutes?
No,
I'm not.
Does someone go to the bin if that happens every tackle for 80 minutes?
If it's getting out of hand, well, then, yeah, you need to police it.
Why does it change? Why does it change when Latrell does it?
Okay, let's just say if Latrell did that every time he got tackled, this one was out of the blue, whatever.
Why does it take 2, 3, 4? Like, we look at someone.
I'm not saying 2, 3, 4. But the next one, if he did that, if he got tackled,
if he did that, do you think he goes to
take Victor Radley out there? If Latrell the next time he got tackled, if Latrell the next time he got tackled,
hang on.
No, I'm not. We're not going to bring Victor Radley. We're not going to bring the Roosters into it. We're not going to bring the bad boy team.
We're not going on till you do it. So this
is because if Latrell did it the second time, because
you're doing exactly what the NRL is doing. You're taking his favour.
It was an out of the blue thing. I don't know. There could have been something said. I don't know. There could have been something said within the game. There could have been the way he was tackled. he could not have liked, and that's why he's lashed out. And if he did it again, well, okay, you spend some time on the sideline. As I said,
So you're
I was
admitting that
happy
it's
for
foul
I was
play.
happy for this. I was happy for this one incident that
So
it was
you're
it was
admitting that
it was
in
out
the
of the blue.
future, if he
It
does
was
it
out
two
of the
or
blue.
three
It wasn't
times,
like a
it's foul
lead
play.
up. It wasn't like a lead up. It wasn't like every time he got tackled, he was palming blokes off, and it was
Yeah,
the
but
same.
you're missing the point.
Few
You're missing the
no,
point here.
I'm happy with what happened.
Okay,
Like,
so hang on. Answer
I'm
me this
happy
question.
with it as
Answer
just
me
being a
this question,
penalty.
we'll move on.
Move on. Let's just keep going,
No.
regardless of who it was. Just
No. Answer me this question.
No,
Answer me
it's
this
fine.
question. Victor Radley does it. Do you send him to the bin?
No, because if that was the thing,
Bullshit.
no, I don't.
Bullshit.
No, because it was
Okay,
as
so
I said,
why
it
if
wasn't a
Latrell
lead up.
Mitchell? Why if Latrell Mitchell does it twice, is it now foul play if it wasn't foul play the first time?
Because it was out of the blue. It wasn't like
It doesn't matter.
there was a
If I
lead up.
punch someone in the face, it's out of the blue.
It wasn't like a punch. It wasn't
But it was a
throwing
straight arm.
punches. As I said, I don't know what was said on the field. If
It
there was
doesn't matter
anything
what was said.
No, it was out of the blue. Now, okay, out of the blue, he's going to get. I'm happy with what happened.
And that's the thing. Latrell Mitchell is a big time player, so you're happy with it.
No, I'm not saying Latrell Mitchell. It could have been. It could have been Chad Nickel-Coolstag. It could have been Jack Whiten. It could have been Chad Townsend. It could be Reece Walsh. It could be Harry Grant that did this. It could have been Xavier Coates. I'm naming other players.
So this weekend, Radley does one. Hargraves does one. Spencer Lenu does one. None of them go to the bin.
As I said, out of the blue things.
It's out of the blue though. They've done it once.
But you just named Spencer Lenu, Rua Hargraves, Victor Radley. They're all playing in the one game.
But it's all out of the blue. It's all one tackle. They've made 50 tackles in a game.
As I said, there was nothing leading up to this. So something's happened.
Let the boys punch on. It's out of the blue.
Well, then, if you want to punch on, well, then you're going to spend some time on the sideline.
Why? It's out of the blue.
Because you're punching. No, because you just said let the boys punch on.
Because
then that's out of the game.
Hang on. You make contact with someone with an open fist or a closed palm. It's striking. Did Latrell do that?
I don't believe
Did Latrell do that?
No. As I said,
telling me
I'm happy with the Storm to have gotten a penalty for it. Move on from the situation.
You just said it's out of the blue, so you can't penalise him then.
You can, because
then it's foul play, so you have to send him to the bin. It's contact.
It wasn't a 10 in the bin, because if we're going to get to the point where we're sending everybody for every little minor things to go to the bin, we're going to get to a game where there's a game where we're going to get to a game where it's going to be 6-on-6, but we're actually playing rugby sevens. And then, do we want that? No. This is a contact sport. It's a contact sport. Now, as I said, I was happy for Melbourne to just get a penalty, Latrell get a talking to, you move on. He probably gets a fine anyway.
He didn't.
I haven't looked.
They did not. He said they did nothing wrong, but you get someone like Victor Radley gets a $3,000 fine for head clash.
I'm happy for Victor Radley.
How's that fair?
I'm happy for Victor Radley. Sorry, I just realised I've got a hole in my shirt. But I'm happy if if you put take Latrell out and put Victor Radley in, I am happy for the same thing for Storm to get the penalty. Victor Radley just go back into the lineup.
But that's the difference. You won't get that if it's not a big time player, and that's the point I'm saying.
As I said, you can take Xavier Coates, Chad Townsend.
Okay, let's take the Warriors. The guy that palmed Cleary in the face. Why did he go to the bin, but Latrell didn't? Same thing.
Because as I said, there's probably some. As I said, people have this unconscious bias.
But that's what you're doing right now.
No, I don't care. As I said, you could put any other player in the NRL.
The Warriors player got sin bin. The Warriors player got sin bin for the same thing.
As I said, I am happy to put Lachlan Miller, Xavier Coates, Chad Nickel-Coolstad.
No, we're not talking about those guys.
I'm saying, no, I'm taking Latrell out of it. I'm putting any other player in that position. I am happy with what I'm saying, through Melbourne to get a penalty and a play on, not a 10 in a bin. You put any other player, you could put Teddy in that position. I'm happy for that.
As I
said, I don't know what caused.
It doesn't matter what was said. It doesn't matter.
No, as I said, I don't know if there was anything said or something. It's not like Latrell's catching the ball and Harry Grant and Nelson are tackling him and he's just getting over it and something's happening. It's not like a lead up.
He caught the ball. He got hit.
No, but as I said, we don't know. I am just happy for Melbourne to got a penalty, Play on, move on.
Well, I think
But
that shows right there the favouritism, but we're going to keep moving. That is the
it's not
favouritism
favourite
between.
because he's a New South Wales player, and I hate New South Wales.
I've got messages on my phone right here where Hargraves touches someone in the jaw and you say you should go to the bin. So there's the difference in a game. But we're going to keep moving.
It's unconscious.
We're going to keep moving.
bias
It's the West
in the
Tigers.
NRL.
It's Jerome Buller, David Nofaluma, Stafford Toa, Tommy Talau, Junior Tapau, Brandon Wakeham, Luke Brooks, Big Stefano, Api Coruscant, David Clemmer, Isaiah Papali'i, John Bateman, Fanua Poole, Jake Simpkin, Joe Ofanagi, Alex Twal, Asi Kapoa, and Alex Seyfarth in the 18th with Justin Matamara, Sean Bloor, Dane Laurie, and Tristan Riley. Now, the Tigers, they did have a good win against the Dragons. Let's be honest, it was probably one of the shittest games of Magic Round. I think there was about 15, 20,000 people in attendance when this game kicked off. I think if you're going based off the lowest participation rates, I think the Tigers did a great job at Magic Round, but I think the Dragons would be missing next year if they went based on fans at the stadium. But talk to me about this Tigers side. They're 2 on the bounce. They have beaten South Sydney in recent times. What do you make of this side? What do you make of their transformation? And then what do you make of this prediction moving forward?
Yeah, 2 on the trot. It's been, first time in, a few years. It's pretty hard to remember a time where Tigers went back-to-back wins and looking for a third. They come up against South Sydney. Yeah, we talked about this close game that they have in the previous years, but I think, I could be wrong, but the spark, the luck, whatever seems to just been going their way these last 2 weeks, the wet weather football in Dubbo, you come up against another team that's both performing poorly off and on the field in the St. George Illawarra Dragons. I just think they come up against this really hot team in the South Sydney Rabbitohs and they'll just fall short.
So what have you got the prediction here? Have you got them going down 13 plus? Have you got them down 1 to 12?
I have them down. I have the Tigers losing 13 plus.
It's at a core, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is at a core. And at the moment, I did have it up before, but Souths were $1.15 to Tigers $5.50 thanks to Sportsbag. Not a plug, but will be a plug soon.
I will say I did read somewhere earlier today that it was a 15.5 head start for the Tigers in betting. So I think I'm going to go here. I'm going to go Souths 13 plus. But if you're a betting person, please gamble responsibly. But I think if you're a betting person, you're definitely interested in that 15.5 line for the Tigers because it's absolutely crazy. And I think there are massive chances they can, I guess, pull an upset or blow this game wide open here. But we're both in agreement that Souths are taking this game 13